explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle.
And so if you're a country like, Afghanistan, a country where women get treated really bad, you know what I mean? But they stick to their Quran, you know, and they're seeing a country calls itself a Christian country, and they see a whole bunch of chaos that has nothing to do with the Bible. They see people who can severely be compromised.
I was watching this video, Dinesh D'Souza, and he was, this is a while back, I think, though, 4 years, yeah, it's a long time ago, but I came across this video, and it's quick, but this guy is talking about when he used to be, he's Islamic, and he was radical before, and he's not now, and he kind of gave a little inside dope into the mind of a radical Muslim person, you know, and I just thought it was interesting, his take on the left. Democrats and the left, because it was very interesting because it made a lot of sense to me.
Here's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. Ilhan Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice, yes, go do that, But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
No, so this is what's happening though in Europe right now. When I watch Fox and Father, if you have a chance, you should subscribe to Lawrence Fox and
they're pretty good.
Father Calvin. Sorry, and Father Calvin actually left Europe because they've been taken over by Muslims. Like I think now Paris is now going to be mostly Muslims. I think they said one of the number one names in Europe now is Muhammad, and they can't believe that. Because you'd be like names like George and things like that. No, not anymore. And so they are being taken over, and they have like white girls that are actually being raped and by these extremist type of people, and they're having a big problem with that. And there's the reason for that, and the reason why is because in the West, even in America, white people have also taken a liking to abortion, and we're having less children.
Right. And
because of that, Muslims don't have abortions. And they have lots of kids. They also believe in polygamy. And so they can have lots of babies. And they can populate a country that was not Muslim.
Which essentially is what's happening with here with the Hispanic race. Because they're they don't abort their babies either. They have lots of babies. You know, and they're born. I think Hispanics have outpaced black people. When he said this, though, I thought that was fascinating to me. That it reminded me of when you said last week, you said the left loves chaos. Remember you said that? Kara said the left loves chaos and lots of things. And he just explained that in that same way. He's like, and it's true. And so the reason why radical, Islamic groups or any kind of radicalized group adheres to the Democratic Party or to the left is because they're so busy with their chaos, they can get their agenda done. You know what I mean? They can get some stuff done. And that's exactly what's happened. So it's interesting hearing him say that as a general kind of like rule. conservatives, it can be Republican, but just conservative in general, they have a set of principles. It really can't be tampered with. Now, that's not to say that all conservatives are just, halo over your head. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there's a set of principles and Christian principles at that, that we go by that prevents us from chaos.
Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, the Bible does tell us to be fruitful and multiply for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get taken over, if you don't do it. And look, I haven't been fruitful and multiplied.
Yeah.
And I am ashamed of that. I wish I had children. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we have there used to be a time in America where people had families of 6 and 8, 10 kids, and now we're having like 1.5, 2. And in Europe, that's what's happening. They're also having They're also having less children. And what's happening is Muslims are coming over and with their polygamous lifestyles and having multiple children.
Yeah.
15. Because if you have 3 wives and you get them pregnant 8 times a piece, that's a lot of kids, and then grandkids, and then they can make huge amounts of children. They don't do abortion.
They can populate.
They can, right. And so to me, it would make sense, and I've said before that the left is chaotic. And how do you become chaotic? Well, the left believes anything goes. So what do? They put women in charge. They want women to be in charge all the time. The right does it too, by the way. So don't think that I don't see what I'm seeing also on the right. But the left has this thing where they like women in charge. The women are what? They are feelings and emotion. Women like illegal immigration. Women like LGBTQ. We feel sorry for people. We want everybody to be, feel good and feel happy. And sometimes we do it to the detriment of ourselves. We don't realize we're doing. Men are more logical. They can put the brakes down really quick. When you have men in charge, that's why Trump, he's going to put the brakes on it. The left had a demented man in charge. Joe Biden was not in charge. He didn't even spell his name if you probably asked him to do it. But they did have Kamala Harris, and they had all these other people around that are over here uplifting everything but values. Yeah. Abortion. Yeah, go ahead and kill your kids off. So of course, if you're you're Islamic extremist, even if you're from Islam, he's talking about Ilhan Omar. I think Dearborn, they vote mostly Democrat. All those Muslims. Why? And they actually booed her when she stood on stage because she is a far left person here. She's part of the squad. Yeah. And she agreed with abortion and LGBTQ, and she got on her stage in Dearborn, and they all booed her.
But she would never do it.
She would never do it. And I don't know why they're booing her. They all vote for Democrats too.
Yeah.
But, that's what I'm saying. I feel like what happens is that if you are someone that is like an extremist, you would latch on to the liberal party. Because if you look at most conservative people, black, white, I don't care who it is, they put the brakes on really fast. Even women, they put the brakes on really fast. No, I don't want you here. You're not illegal. No, I don't believe in abortion. You should have the right to life. That there are certain values that we are going to say, sorry, not a thing. But the left doesn't have any.
No, it's more like...
They just go on and on about everybody's rights to just do whatever they want to the detriment of the country. They don't care if the country goes underwater. Me and Danielle have talked about before about people, when you don't listen to people who we have the privilege to listen to. This is a privilege. This is a man who is an radical. Yeah. And he came out of it, he got in his right mind, and now he tells other people what exactly they do. The same thing with Yuri Benikoff or whatever. He was an ex-KGB agent, and he was able to tell us about what it means to be, what Marxism does, and how it slowly starts for socialism and works his way up.
Yeonmi Parks as well.
Yeah.
She's a North Korean defector. And she talks also about socialism and all that stuff, and how we're privileged to be able to hear these people talk.
But a lot of people don't want to hear these people. Even when Charles Manson, his followers, once they got in their right mind in prison, I don't care what she did, because I don't want to hear her story. Why not?
Why not?
Because you should want to hear these people. Charles Manson had a really horrible life before he was who we know him, and so why don't you want to know that? You should want because you detest them. What's his name? What's her name? Oprah actually had a show where she had ex-pedophiles talking about how they groom kids. And everybody was like, oh, Oprah has pedophiles on the show, but they won't have Ice Cube. Like, no, this is more important. You know what I mean? This man is a disgusting man who's telling you what happens to children, how we get kids in these situations. And you should never just turn your ears off to these people. They're giving you a gift right now. You know what I mean? And so this man is absolutely right. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Of course, it's chaotic over there.
Yeah.
This is why when the whole 4 years, we've had illegal immigrants here. We've had inflation. We've been funding wars we shouldn't be in. We're over here protecting everybody else's borders, not ours. We're telling people to have abortion and then lower the birth rates here. We've got feminism all over the place. Women aren't getting married. Women are getting divorced, no-fault divorce. It's chaos over on that side of the aisle.
I had a conversation a while back, a long time ago. This guy, he was from the Middle East. He came into the place I work, and we had a small conversation about politics. I think it's because, what's his name? Biden was just making a mess of things. And he said to me that, I can't remember what country he's from, but it was a Middle Eastern country. And he said, I can always tell when a country is being run by a feminine energy or in a feminist manner by the way the country is looking. And I thought, well, what do you mean? He said, so right now in America, you have LGBTQ and, now they're starting this whole new type of affirmative action, which would be DEI and, just all these different extra programs, a lot of protesting, a lot of out of order behavior, defund the police. He says, so when you see a lot of this kind of like chaotic behavior, it's being run in a feminized country. Because in more countries that are run with the patriarchy, like his country, in other parts of the world, almost all other parts of the world, the countries are in order.
Yeah.
When there's a masculinity to it, which is why we wanted masculinity back in the White House. Because I think Trump is somebody who represents that, but then also just does the masculine thing. I think it will keep our country in order. I think it keeps people, like he's like a no-nonsense person where he's just saying, no, we are going to deport you. This is what it is. And so I like that. I think it should be that way.
Which is why they were trying to kill this man and put him in jail and stuff, because they knew what he was going to do once he got into office. And look, by no means am I saying that Trump is some kind of man that can't make a mistake. He will make a mistake at some point. You know what I mean? But my point is that when we don't have children and we don't have generations, when we don't understand that, suffering is part of thriving. Yeah. This was another thing. We don't want to suffer no more. Yeah. Everybody wants to just sit around taking photos of themselves and, doing the least amount of work as they possibly can. But this country was not built on that kind of energy. It was built on hard-working men and women. Now, I'm just saying, men built the country, but women, made children. They kept the house going. They made it so men could do that. That's my point. Men got married young. Women got married young. There were lots of children. And the country became the powerhouse it is based on those values. Hard work, determination, suffering, going through tough times, i.e. the civil rights era, Jim Crow, all of these different times in life where, all the wars, the Indian wars, all these wars that those people went through a hell of a lot to make this a country that it is today. And now, because they've made it so good for us, we are just a lazy people. Yeah. We don't want to work. We want everybody to get to heights of places without getting to the heights of places on merit, but by color, by race, by you being a woman or being gay. You don't have to actually work hard. You just have to have the right, characteristics to get there.
Our country was was a better mix when it was the golden era of time, right? It was a better mix. We were more in alignment with what I feel the way God wanted it to be. Yeah. This is why I like to promote marriage. I'm not married. I do not have kids. And I just started, not so long ago, a couple of years now, but being a Christian person and really understanding the Bible and getting right with that. And this is why I promote, though, marriage and children, and people having children, and doing the conservative Christian way. I believe that's the best formula for a great country. I do. And for your own personal life.
The people that built this country, they had pride in their country, but they had faith in God. Yeah. That's it. They had that, you know what I mean? And so that's why they could work hard. They could deal with suffering. They'd be out in those fields. Not just black people picking cotton, white people too. Most people were farmers. You know, they built stuff. You know, and then all of a sudden we started getting technology, which is fine. It's good to progress. But then what happened was we started to just let go of things, and not only that, just our sense of work and worth. Everything has become visual. You know, you don't have to go grocery shop anymore. Just get them sent to your house. You don't have to cook anymore. You can just do Postmates. I don't want to have kids.
Yeah,
it's too much work. You know what I mean? I don't want to take my husband's name.
Yeah, I
want to just get married and then we can do we can be equals. Oh, I don't, you know what I mean? It's these men I don't want to, they're the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are implementing. Was it Yuri said that America cannot be penetrated from the outside in, or from the outside. It has to be imploded in the inside because there's too strong a country. So what do? You go into the country and you change the values, and it implodes.
And that's why he says it's always like the gateway is socialism, which is why we don't like socialist policies. Socialism leads to communism. But he does say that the first thing you do have to do is demoralize a nation. Once you demoralize a nation and do things like we're seeing now with over-sexualized, and Dinesh mentioned that we're an over-sexualized country, or our behaviors are very, just the morals are just gone. But he said when you demoralize a country and the people in it, then you can normalize it. That's the next step, is to make that normal. So if you apply that to yourself now, if you think about it, so when you go through your phone and you see a girl all of a sudden twerking, it's really not that big a deal to you. Yeah, it's not that big a deal to you anymore. Not really. Like, I know you look at it and go, oh God, another girl twerking. That's what I'm saying. But like before, it would be shocking. Like, it's shocking that a person would do that on camera, right? But now we've normalized it, because we're no longer moral. So we've normalized that behavior to where we're falling into it. This is why when he's talking about there's a set of principles that conservative people have. I think that we need to build on that.
We need to have less women trying to be boss women.
Yeah.
And less men being okay with that. And we need to have more children. And we need to have more people going to church, and more people believing in something other than the government.
Right. And themselves.
And then just themselves, calling yourselves all kinds of queens, gods, and I'm a boss woman. All this, and then men just good. We gonna build a kingdom together. You work, I work. You eat, I eat. It's like we're the same. Stop that.
We're not the same.
We're not meant to be the same. So cut it out.
The patriarchy. I believe in the patriarchy. I know that doesn't always hit women the right way when we say that, but I believe that the patriarchy is what it should be. I do. I really feel that way. And I do understand that it should be the right patriarchy. It can't just be any old Joe Schmo out there. But definitely, I think that we need to be in more of a masculine.
God did not make men to be ahead of us just to be tyrants.
Yeah.
He made men ahead of us because he loves us.
Yeah.
Because without men, we are really vulnerable.
Well, we get out of order.
We're just vulnerable. Women have children. We're not as strong as if you take men out of America, we are dead. Because in other countries like Russia, they're not doing that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They're other masculine countries.
Yes, those masculines. I'm saying because they uphold the patriarchy there, and the citizens within the country understand that. And again, sprinkles. There's always going to be a sprinkle of liberalism. There's always going to be some kind of counterpoint. That's weird if it's not, right? But so I get that there will always be like liberal people and stuff like that, but I do feel that the majority of the country should be conservative for just behavior alone. I'm not even necessarily talking about politics right now, although that's a big part of it, obviously, because of policies and things. But I'm talking about just on a character level. I do think that will boost the character of the people in the country. As if we would behave, because we're being held to a Christian standard. If it's a Christian country, you're being held to a Christian standard, and the Christian standard is saying you can't just act like that. There's no more. Like, we don't have a healthy relationship with shame in this country. Otherwise we wouldn't see this working girl. Yeah. You know, so it is just kind of chaos.
Right.
We're in a country of chaos.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away technology, women can't be independent.
No, they can't.
They can't. I mean, AOC, Hillary Clinton be grabbing for a man. You know, because the truth is, men really did build this country. And the thing is like, if you, the only reason you can be independent is because everything from the houses that you're living in, the businesses, the chairs you're sitting in, all made for men. Right. Men have really made our lives comfortable. Yeah. And what we've done is tell them that they're worthless. And I just think that this is a mistake. If you are someone who's an alarmist extremist and you're seeing this happen in a country and you want to invade it, and you're watching the men in this country take this crap from women when they know men built this country. And they're like, look how men are sitting back and just letting these women just talk down to them this way. What is this? You know what I mean? You know, you can really, really take a country down with that kind of mentality. And I don't think that what I'm saying sets women back. Actually, feminism sets women back. Yeah. It sets us all back.
Feminism is just telling women that, you know, hold off on everything. Kids and everything. Except
don't have any.
Except for career. Definitely don't hold off on that. But marriage, career, men ain't nothing. They're, you know, you don't ever depend on a man. This is the mentality of the idea of feminism, is that it makes you stop the process of improving and achieving. It does, but they sell it differently. They sell it as empowerment.
Yeah, I mean, people they don't like. I mean, we get people tell us all the time, I don't like when you guys talk about the Bible, you know. But the thing is like, you know, really,
it's the blueprint. It's the blueprint, though.
So Christ really frees you. I feel free. You know what I mean? I feel freed in God. I don't feel at all oppressed at all. I feel very guided and free in Christ. I mean, and you know, it's funny is that all the Christian countries that, mostly white countries, they have you're free to do whatever you want in our countries. It's really the countries that are Muslim countries and those Asian countries, they're really where there's a lot of still slavery. And no one ever talks about, Muhammad like that, but they will talk about Jesus like that. Yeah. And we'll talk about Buddha like that. But all those countries where Muhammad and Buddha and all those are where they have actual slaves still. Yeah. Africa.
You know, I used to think, a long time ago, I used to be that person that would say, oh, you know, I'm spiritual, not religious. I was that person, right? You know, a lot of people say that. And I really didn't see any issue with that until I got into religion. And the reason why I think it's more free, I felt more restricted thinking like that. And it's weird because you would think that, oh, I'm more spiritual means that your life is open, your world is open. No, not really. When you have a blueprint like the Bible, like, to me, it restores some type of order and no confusion. So you have some type of order going on there. And because of that, I feel more, it's odd to say, but I do feel more free. When you don't have order, how it's very chaotic. And people think that that's called freedom. And I think that's bondage, actually. I think that when you don't have some type of, blueprint of how, you know, to do this thing, you know, or something besides yourself to live up to, I do think that it holds you in bondage, because you're kind of just, you don't have any direction. You're aimlessly doing things.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible is about order. So even when they talk about Adam and Eve and the fact that Eve bit the apple and the serpent gave it to her, it's really just about order. The fact is that it was flipped upside down when she did that. Yeah. Because then we had God, man, woman, child, you know. And so when she did that, it put the serpent ahead, Satan. And then it put the woman, the man, and then child was all out of order. And once it became out of order, sin came. Yeah. And we are doing that now. We're way out of order. This is the reason why even when it talks about slavery, how slave masters are supposed to treat their slaves and how slaves are supposed to treat their slave masters. You know, people want to shy away from that. But the truth is that when there is no order and people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, that's why you can't just, follow the law. You know, you have to have faith and things like that. You have to have some sort of, character building. And that's, to me, what the Bible builds character. It shows you how to live. Yeah. You know, just because we are a sin nature, so we will do things that are against the regular order, which is why we're so chaotic right now. We're doing things in our own understanding, and we don't care about anybody else. And so if you're a country like that you're a country like, Afghanistan, a country where women get treated really bad. You know what I mean? But they stick to that Quran. And they're seeing a country calls herself a Christian country, and they see a whole bunch of chaos that has nothing to do with the Bible. They see people who can severely be compromised. Because we want to do everything our way. That's what protest is, by the way. Yeah. Protest is, I want it my way.
It's just not...
I don't care.
It's not effective.
Right. And I can tell you, I was once a young woman also. And I can tell you when you're young, you're the most, you're the most, defiant. Yeah. Because you get your freedom, you come from your parents, now you got your freedom, so now you just think that everything should just be liberal. But I can tell you that kind of life, after a while, will destroy you.
Well, think how much happier women were back in the 50s, right? When they were just much happier. Now, when you look at women, they seem more angry.
I mean, Phyllis Schlafly was considered the queen of the silent majority, which means the majority of women were on her side. They were just afraid to say it. Yeah. And so, I was listening to this. So I like music from the 60s and 70s. It's my favorite generation of music. And I was listening to the Mamas and Papas, California Dreamin' one day. And in the comments, someone wrote, I was on YouTube. And on the comments, someone wrote, counterculture. They finally destroyed California. Right. And he's right though, because California used to be this place everybody wanted to live. I mean, every show.
It was like a utopian idea
right.
Place,
the beaches, the sun,
it's always
what I mean?
Good.
You had your Beverly Hills, but everybody wanted to live in California. And then here was this counterculture in the 60s and the 70s. And it was all about the mamas and the papas and all those groups that we all love. But that type of attitude finally killed California.
Yeah. You can't
too liberal.
Yeah, you cannot live a life of chaos like that and think that it's going to pan out later as well. It's not gonna do well. It won't age well.
Right.
Because you never had order.
That's why we tell young girls all the time, like, do not get so in your ego with this whole I'm a queen and I'm a goddess and I'm all this. I'm talking about white women too, not just black women. I'm saying get out of your ego. You're supposed to avoid pride and ego a lot because that will lead you to hell on earth.
I love when
eventually.
I love when we get, because we do get a lot of emails and stuff from young women, like really young, like 20s and stuff like that. It's so nice I love knowing there are conservative young women, because that's kind of the problem, right? Is that there's too much liberalism going on in the young world, and so when I see this uprising of young conservative people, like Charlie Kirk did a lot of work during the Trump's campaign with going to colleges, and he was essentially kind of in charge of like getting the young voices out there, and he did a really good job. Him and people like Brett Cooper and all these people, they did a really good job. But it's nice to see that, because I do think that the youth will be happier if there's some structure, and I'm seeing more and more that they're noticing that.
Yeah, I'm not a super old woman, but I'm not young.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I don't want to see young women just let their whole youth go trying to be a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And trying to, be the most naked.
It's really
and trying to get these careers that really aren't going to love them at the end of the day, because you can lose your career and your job. It's very quick and it's not loving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so do not take, for granted what it means to be married and have a family. Believe me, it may seem boring and it may seem like living the Sex and the City life looks like fun. But the truth is, it's not. You know what I mean? After a while, that kind of, even for men though, living a life of just for yourself, eventually hits you hard.
Right.
You get lost in it, and it's pointless. There's no real meaning to it, because you want a legacy. You want to be able to leave this earth and know that you did some good things and that you did something, even if people don't even know about it.
It's like frowned upon. It's like frowned upon now. It's like leaving a legacy and doing things like that. You know, we had recently got a email from a young lady, and she was saying that in her world, it's not normal for people her age, and she was in her 20s, to want to get married early and have children and all this kind of stuff, right? In her world, it's bad bitch time. Right, as girl boss, we bossing it up. We protested. She's more conservative, so she's just like, I want that. I want that. I want to be, married young and have children. Right, and so I told her, I think that everyone's different, so that's for sure, right? Everyone has a different path in life. Not everybody's got the same path in life. But I do think as a general rule, don't neglect that part of your life as a young lady. Don't neglect that part. Don't neglect wanting to have children and get married young just for the sake of saying you're going to be a bad bitch and a boss bitch.
Yeah,
and you got a high-powered career. I'm like, don't lose all that. I told her, she follows, as I said, my sister and I do not have children when we're not married. I was like, now that was not the journey that I thought it was going to be. God has whatever he has for us, so I'm just going to give that to him. But I'm just saying, for me, I'm always proud to promote marriage and children, and I mean younger. I really want that to happen for people, and I don't think young people should stifle their feelings on that just because your group of your girlfriends are all like want to be CEOs and business owners and stuff like that. Don't fall into the trap.
Say for men and women, look, you do what you want to do. Yeah. But what I'm saying for men and women, or for women, young men and young women, do not spring break your life away.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening. Is everybody's just spring breaking their life away. They hit 18 and then it's like they're still 18 when they're 35. Mm-hmm. It's just like at some point you have to take your life seriously. Mm-hmm. You don't, first of all, you don't know when you're going to leave this earth. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that we should all want to make the most of our day. Yeah. Not just our young life, because you should, but anytime you have a day, you should make the most of it, whatever you're going to do. I don't just do this show to just sit there and get subscribers and talk. I actually want to talk about stuff.
Yeah, I want... Yeah.
I don't, the views are the views. If we get views, we do. If we don't, we don't. That's up to God. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I do the show based on the fact that I am someone who's had a life, mm-hmm. who's had, I'm still living it, but I'm just saying, have had a life. And I just think that, I'm looking at it and I'm saying that you have to be able to mm-hmm. learn. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you get older, you're supposed to have some wisdom. Yeah. You're not supposed to be a 50 or 60-year-old man or woman and you have no wisdom. You're just sitting around, and I'm seeing men and men with beards with grays in it, sound completely ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm seeing women who are 50 and 60 years old, like I said, with shirts and plunging necklines, still acting like they're 18 years old. And these younger women and men are thinking that life is like this party of, not only just I can do whatever I want, but I can complain for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And it's killing our country because we can't take too many more years of that. I know that this went on to something else, which also happens, when Danielle and I speak in real life. Mm-hmm. We go from one conversation to another because I do think that...
What were we talking about before? Dinesh D'Souza? Yeah, because he was talking about conservatism.
Well, because what he's saying is he goes where there's chaos. America has become chaotic. Mm-hmm. And why did it become chaotic? Well, from the things we just talked about. Yeah. It comes from something. You know what I mean?
I like that he recognized that being conservative, this is without talking about politics right now, I like that he recognized that having a conservative attitude and principle and value is almost like bulletproof.
Like, there are conservative Democrats.
Yeah, there are conservative Democrats.
That's why a lot of them voted for Trump.
Yeah. Those JFK Democrats?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some conservative Democrats.
Common sense people still exist even in the Democratic Party. So it's just like I just get tired when I see us just allowing people to run through our borders, mm-hmm. and I see that we are spending 100, what do they say, almost 200 days a year focusing on LGBTQ. Yeah, that's nuts to talk about, to sit there and spend talking about who someone chooses to sleep with. Yeah. What does that have to do with anything? Who cares? I'm sick of
seeing Americans be anti-American. Like, what are we doing here?
I hate America. It's racist.
Well, what the hell are you doing here?
What are you here for? You got some people that are here calling America racist, and then you got the people who are people of color coming here. It's like, what is it, racist or not? Well, I mean, you're happier. Discipline is your friend. Whenever I'm around disciplined people, I'm just, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing about the Bible. It creates discipline.
I feel relaxed around discipline.
You know what I mean? And so the Bible to me is both a mirror and a window. Yeah. And so you can look at it and you find Jesus, but then you also see where you fall short, and then you look out the window and you see why it looks like that, because of you. Yep. It's because of you. The person's in the mirror. You got to change, and changing is hard because you have to, like Danielle says, unlearn and relearn. Mm-hmm. But then you gotta show some sort of discipline in your life. Discipline is your friend. It frees you. because you're not being led by your feelings, and you're not being led by other things. You're being led by a discipline, and you have core principles. What that guy was saying, what he was saying was, he's like, when people have principles. They have character. Liberals, they don't care about nothing. You can just do anything over there.
That's the point.
And that's a group of people that can be completely infiltrated and taken over.
All right, leave some comments below. Let us know what you think.